Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery. Inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery. Made Cayman fresh. Health City. Now open at Camana Bay 7 days a week.
The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Friday, the 15th day of July 2000, the 16th day, sorry. I'm one day late. 16th day of July 2021. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, some portions of that road may be a little bit wet because some areas on the island did get some rain this morning. But if you're on the roads, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, the life you save may be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. Or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, a belated happy birthday to you as well. For those of you who have lost loved ones, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. And we hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you as well. You would have heard some of those obituaries mentioned on the radio this morning as well. And I want to send a special message to Miss Jewel, my good friend Miss Jewel, over in Northside, and her family, and to express special condolences to her and her family as well. If you are under the weather a little bit today, and if you're either at home or at a medical facility, we want to wish you a speedy recovery as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Ort Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, the phone lines are open. As usual, beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson in the control room, waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And, of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. COVID-19 update for the 15th of July. Chief Medical Officer Dr. John Lee reported 335 COVID-19 tests had been carried out since it was last reported on Wednesday the 14th. There were no positive test results out of those 335. Of course, the vaccination rate still are extremely low. I believe in the space of maybe of a week, we only saw the percentage go up by about 1 percentage point from 64 to 65 or something like that. Simply not what we want to see happening in the Cayman Islands. If we are to open our borders, successfully open our borders, and get back to as normal as we can, we need to see an uptake in the vaccine. We need to see a higher percentage of our population being vaccinated as well. While I'm on COVID-19 reporting, I will also share with you the amendments to the COVID-19 regulations that were issued on the 14th of July for the Cayman Islands. And amendments to COVID-19 regulations and a notice to extend by 2 months current inter-island travel and boating regulations were gazetted on Wednesday, the 14th of July, 2021. An amendment of Regulation 5 of the Prevention, Control, and Suppression of COVID-19, Number 2, Regulation 2021 relating to the wearing of masks provides business owners, and I want you all to listen to this very carefully, the regulation in relation to the wearing of masks provides business owners and operators with the authority to require any person who visits their establishment to wear a mask and to refuse entry to any person who refuses to do so. New Regulation 6A was added to the Prevention, Control, and Suppression of COVID-19, Number 2, Regulations 2021, in order to prevent the removal or passing of items from a person at a place of quarantine or in isolation to anyone from the outside. Regulation 6A also expressly provides for the mandatory isolation, if necessary, in the opinion of the medical officer of health of any person from the outside who has handled an item from a known quarantine facility. The new regulation does provide a special defense for persons charged with an offense of handling an item from a place of quarantine or self-isolation. This occurs when the person charged can prove that they did not know that the item was from a place of quarantine or self-isolation or had been handled by a person in a place of quarantine or self-isolation. Exception is also made for items that have been removed or passed from the place of quarantine or self-isolation for public health reasons with the approval of the medical officer of health. The amendments to the regulations as well as the notice on inter-island travel and boating regulations expire on the 15th of November 2021. And if you want to know more about these updated regulations, you can go to the gazettes.gov.ky/portal/PLS. I'm not going to read all of those, but if you go on the Gazette's, Cayman Islands Government Gazette's website, from there you can basically follow your way through to those regulations. I'm sure that it is a user-friendly website and it will allow you to be able to access this information and familiarize yourself with it. So, Doc, what we seem to see that they're either anticipating or that they have had to deal with before is people passing items either into or out of. And it's probably more out of than anything else, because those persons have traveled. They have probably, well, we hope and we trust that they have traveled for urgent reasons and not just
for pleasure.
To pleasure and to go and do some shopping. And if they have done that for pleasure and to do some shopping, and I ordered something from Amazon and I had it delivered to their hotel, but I want that now rather than having to wait
for the
5 days or 14 days to get it. That is what may be happening. So, and good morning to you, Doc. I pulled you right into the conversation without welcoming you.
That's okay. I'm glad you did that too. That's okay.
Yes.
So that's a problem, and I'm glad that they are plugging that loophole, because I can see that. Readily see that, where you're hanging around the quarantine venue, waiting for a chance to someone to hand the package to you, whether it's the person who's quarantined or the people who are guarding the venue might do it, and that's not far fetched, because this morning I read this morning again, even though and this is on another, this is extending this conversation. I see now where, even though they have arrested someone for taking drugs into the prison, now they this morning there's a news item about another person being arrested and taken. Yes. So it's not far fetched to say that someone who has gone abroad and has brought the nice shirt or the piece of appliance or the nice telephone or something for their friends or their family, and they want to get it out to them as quickly as possible. And I'm glad that they have done that, because that is a way in which you could pass the virus if people have it out into the public, and then you wouldn't know why you haven't community spread. But I'm glad that they're thinking ahead.
Definitely. Okay, we're going to take our first commercial break. And folks, as you heard, Dr. Steve Macfield is in the studio with me. So we will continue to converse. We remind you that the phone lines are open. When we return, we will have about 10 minutes before we go to our 8 o'clock news. And then after the 8 o'clock news, every 15 minutes, we will be taking a commercial break as well. So folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Did you know that during the administration of Commissioner Hearst from 1907 to 1912, substantial sums of funds were spent for the expansion and improvements of roads throughout the Cayman Islands? Our history says that Northside has been fairly remote thanks to reefs in the sea and swamps on land. But in December 1909, a 12-foot wide road was laid out from the Grapetree Point to Oman Bay, and in 1910, work began on the road from Oman Bay to Frank Sound.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Introducing the 35th President of Rotary Central Cayman Islands, Ms. Corleen Goodman Hoptroff. Our new President Corleen and her team will lead us through the new Rotary year, July 2021 through July 2022. Another year of community purpose and fulfillment. We, Rotary Central, look ahead knowing that with your help, the best is yet to come. President Corleen leads us as we join over 1.2 million Rotarians across 35,000 Rotary clubs around the world under a new Rotary International theme, a new banner: Serve to Change Lives. Serve to change lives in our community, Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, and Little Cayman. Serve to change lives, yours and ours. Knowing this, The best is yet to come.
Health City is now open at Camana Bay, offering a wide range of specialties at our state-of-the-art Camana Bay Clinic. We are here to help you save time and feel better. We are open weekdays, weekends, and evenings for your convenience and are dedicated to reducing your wait time while improving your health. Friendly staff, expert care, lab services, and diagnostics in one convenient location from the hospital you know and trust. Health City at Camana Bay, within your reach.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com or stop by Vant's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
West Bay, home to Barkas National Park, the touristy flair, a family community, a political powerhouse. From sports enthusiasts to car aficionados, affection for silver thatch roof. No matter how far you may venture, West Bay will always be where the heart is. Home will always be in West Bay. West Bay Pharmacy, caring for your home and your family. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient, quality care is just around the corner.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve Macfield. So, Doc, you mentioned the situation with another arrest at Northwood Prison. And so we have in these are the ones that we know about. Mm-hmm. In the last several weeks, we had UCCI, right? Non-Caymanian in a position of trust, seems to have absconded or left the jurisdiction before any charges could be brought. I don't think that is an accident in itself. Maybe at some point in time we will know more will be revealed in terms of how he was able to leave, or whether or not he was aware of the investigation that was taking place. Northwood Prison, one prison officer, and based on the details that we have, does whether or not the person has a Caymanian status is another thing, but not an indigenous Caymanian. Most recent one, not an indigenous Caymanian again. Now, I'm not saying and not arguing at all that if Caymanians were in those positions that similar things may not have happened, because we are all fallible. We have good Caymanians, we have bad Caymanians, we have Caymanians who have committed crimes, we have Caymanians who have not committed crimes. So that's possible. But at least, if Caymanians are given the opportunity, encouraged to take up these positions with good incentives, then if they commit offenses, then we have an ability to hold them to account as well. Now, I don't know what the legal status in terms of, or the marital status of any of these individuals are. But again, for those persons who use the argument that we should have Caymanians in these positions, what is happening now helps to strengthen that argument.
Exactly. It strengthens that argument, and it brings it forward, and it puts it in the limelight, puts it straight into the limelight. And I don't understand when first began, when it began as a prisoner holding center for people. Caymanians were in charge. I remember Derek Ebanks and Walsham Conley, and all of those people. Todd Welcome, and I can name them. All of a sudden, they were gone. They were gone from their posts, and then they started to bring people from outside, people who have no idea of Caymanian culture, who do not know the families in Cayman, and people who really do not have any skin in the game in Cayman, really. And I keep saying this, one of the main reasons why they come is because of the strength of our dollar, the money. Show me the money.
Yes.
You see? So I do not understand. They have a lot of ex-policemen. They have a lot of ex-policemen, retired policemen. They have that could get those jobs. And I keep saying this. They could also get the jobs as securities in some of these government places where we go. I don't understand. Why is it now that Caymanians now can't do that work?
Exactly.
Caymanians can't do this work. Caymanians can't do that job. Caymanians can't do that job. Well, it seems to me that all the things that they talk about, the Caymanians not qualified to do things now, are debunked by all of these things that are happening to us.
Exactly. We have a caller. Let's grab that caller before we go to our 8 o'clock news. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I hate to be an early bird.
Nothing wrong with that. That's the one that catches the worm.
I hope I catch a couple today. I can't help but agree with Mr. Maxfield 100% in what he just said, because, when something happens here and we call a certain nationality, they rise up against us and say it's not only them that don't think, hey, what about the Caymanians and yakari. I am not here to bring nobody down. But all I have to say is, you be careful who live in glass houses, shouldn't throw stones. And Mr. Maxfield and OC, I want to say, this is just a touch of the iceberg that what's going to happen here within the next 5 years. It's going to get worse. And they got a line out for my nephew desperately to throw him in here. But yet I haven't heard anything about this ICCI individual being sent back or fined.
UCCI, not ICCI, UCCI.
UCCI. They could be working on the situation and not saying anything yet, which is okay. But when people can open their mouth before things could even happen here in the island, it's all on the street. But I just want to say this morning, we got to be careful who we pick, because our own people has to live here one way or the other. And when they go abroad and get in trouble or whatever, or want to come back home to retire, it is Cayman they come in. They didn't throw the island away. And furthermore, when they can come to my country and disrespect us, let the doors and the grocery stores in our face, in the restaurants in our face, and try to kill us on the road so innocently, it is unbecoming. And it's so sad that our few little Caymanians, they are doing the same thing because if they can do it, we're going to do it too. But that's not the way to look at it. Parents need to talk to their children. I don't care how old the children are. Talk to them, say, sweetheart, not because someone is doing it, you must do it. You have to be a better person. We need some better persons in the Cayman Islands. So I just want to say, although they got our fish net, they're waiting to bring my nephew home, they better be careful to get trapped in it. Because when he's to come home, he will come home. He don't need no help to bring him home. He will come in due time. You don't need to send no, what is that they use?
Extradition?
Extradition. You don't need extradition. You can come on your own. Go and find that other individual that was working at the college and bring him back here. Let's hear his story. The lady at the Pines, what happened to her? She's gone scot-free to a degree. But our Caymanians is who they want to keep down. And we, the Caymanians, want to keep our Caymanians down. And we will never, ever come together if that's how we look at our people overseeing Mr. Maxfield. And Mr. Maxfield, you need to get in these schools and teach these children some education, because then our children is lack of education and knowledge when it comes to this little baby country that everybody wants to call their home, except the few Caymanians. I just thank you guys and have a great day.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a great day as well. Folks, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, the conversation with Dr. Macfield will continue. And Doc, one of the things that I'm going to want to talk about, we see in the strategic policy statement and talk about decriminalization of marijuana, of ganja, and how laws would be crafted in such a way that something like what is being reported now in the prisons and stuff like that, how do you separate that from the use and stuff like that to ensure that these things are still prosecutable?
That's right.
Okay, folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Price Right is 7:59.
It's getting hot.
I'd even say it's sizzling.
You're right. It's a sizzling summer. And Priced Right is giving you the chance to win big throughout July and August.
That's right. We've got the best summer products in store. And by just purchasing any specially marked sizzling summer product, you have the chance to win one of 3 $200 Priced Right gift cards.
Promotion only valid at Priced Right at the Airport Center. For more info, go to pricedright.ky. Live better for less this summer at Priced Right.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We are here for you. Please be advised that the pension contribution holiday has been extended until 31st of December 2021. Employers and plan members should ensure arrangements are in place for salary deductions and remittance following this date. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, keeping you informed. For further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. We're here for you.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller in Parliament.
Question is, be it now therefore resolved that the Parliament approves the policy priorities, aggregate financial targets and financial allocations set out in the 2022-2024 Strategic Policy Statement as the indicative parameters on which the 2022 and 2023 budgets will be formulated. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Noes? The ayes have it.
Parliament adjourned Thursday evening until the completion of Finance Committee, one of the issues to be addressed.
The most significant request in absolute terms of dollars is $27.5 million for additional funds sought for the continuation of the stipend to be paid to persons connected with the tourism industry that has been displaced from their jobs due to the closure of the island's borders.
Deputy Premier the Honourable Chris Saunders says he intends for Finance Committee proceedings to start on Monday at 9 a.m. Royal Cayman Islands Police Service Commissioner Derek Byrne tells Radio Cayman police are making major progress into the investigations into gun violence in recent weeks that has led to 2 deaths and 8 injuries.
We are out there on the street and we are tackling it, and there's no doubt we are breaking down, the violence as it is. And like any police service, the dynamics are we'll break it down in cycles.
Commissioner Burns says the RCIPS understands the devastating impact that violent crime has on any community, but especially one as tightly knit as the Cayman Islands.
We're seeing this violence, this gun-related violence that has caused a lot of anxiety in the community. It's vicious, it's reckless.
Describing the recent incidents as a spike, the commissioner says a relatively small group of people are involved, and their immediate short-term focus is to disrupt the criminal activity and dismantle these groups. And a quick sports story. Congratulations to Coach Sean Peterson and the Maples Dolphins on winning the 2021 Youth Flag Football Championships in the senior division. Peterson walks Radio Cayman through what he says was a very exciting final.
We had a great matchup with opposing team, which we managed to score 6 points in the first half. And then before that half ended, the opposing team scored 6 points. Our offense was really, really good. We pretty much mixed it up with running and passing. And then our zone was solid. We had a solid zone defense. And in the second half, we scored the first 6 points. And then we converted on the 2 points. And then luckily, the opposing team scored 6 points and then never did convert. And the game was then 14-12, and we got the ball in the last possession, and there was like 3 minutes remaining on the clock. We pretty much run the ball out, get first downs, run it out and run it out until the end. I am so humble and proud to have had the privilege to coach the Maples youth team in the senior division.
The youth league consisted of 3 divisions: juniors 7-10, middles 11-14, and seniors 15-9. Now with the check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Danielle Jałowiecka. German and EU leaders have called for determined action against climate change as the number of people killed by floods in western Germany passes 100. Record rainfall in northwestern Europe caused rivers to burst their banks, devastating the region. The German states of Rhineland-Palatinate and North Rhine-Westphalia have been worst hit. At least 14 people have been killed by the flooding in neighbouring Belgium. The Netherlands and Switzerland are also affected. The South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has said the violent unrest that swept the country was clearly planned and instigated. Mr. Ramaphosa is visiting KwaZulu-Natal, where almost 100 people were killed. He said the violence and looting were an assault on democracy. The award-winning Indian photojournalist Danish Siddiqui has been killed while covering the fighting between Afghan forces and the Taliban in Kandahar province. Mr. Siddiqui, who worked for Reuters, won a Pulitzer Prize in 2018 for documenting the violence faced by Myanmar's Rohingya minority. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Are you aware of the performance of your pension plan? The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan provides quarterly fund fact sheets for our members to stay informed with the plan's performance. For the year ended 30th of April, 2021, the various life cycle funds have provided returns between 10.5% and 43.2%. And our all-in expense ratio for year ended 30th of June, 2020 is currently the lowest it's ever been. 0.72%. Visit chamberpension.ky to review our fund fact sheets. You can see the performance as far back as 10 years. Remember that pensions are a longer-term investment strategy. Focus on the long term rather than the short-term returns. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan continues to perform for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Do you have a customer shutoff valve installed? The customer shutoff valve enables you to turn off the water between the meter and your property. If you plan to shelter away from your home or are preparing your business for a storm, turning off the customer shutoff valve can prevent unexpected high water bills and property damage should a leak occur in your plumbing. For more useful hurricane preparedness tips, visit the Water Authority's website at www.waterauthority.ky or follow us on social media.
Introducing the 35th President of Rotary Central Cayman Islands, Ms. Corleen Goodman Hoptroff. Our new President Corleen and her team will lead us through the new Rotary year, July 2021 through July 2022. Another year of community purpose and fulfillment. We, Rotary Central, look ahead knowing that with your help, the best is yet to come. President Corleen leads us as we join over 1.2 million Rotarians across 35,000 Rotary clubs around the world under a new Rotary International theme, a new banner. Serve to change lives. Serve to change lives in our community, Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, and Little Cayman. Serve to change lives, yours and ours. Knowing this, the best is yet to come.
According to the Standards in Public Life Act, which of these categories of people are required to file a declaration of interest? A. Members of Parliament. B. Chief Officers and Deputy Chief Officers. C. Government Department, Section or Unit Heads and their deputies. D. CEOs of statutory authorities and government companies. Or E. Members of government bodies of statutory authorities and government companies. The answer is all of them. For these persons, declarations must be submitted between 1st of July and 30th of July 2021 using the new online portal. For more information or to see the full list of individuals required under the Act to submit a declaration, visit standardsinpubliclifecommission.ky.
The 8:10 a.m. Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we're more than just an insurance company, we're family. To learn more about our first-in-class group health and employee benefit solutions, please visit Pan American Life Insurance Company of the Cayman Islands at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Sound Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304. You can also visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 89%. The barometric pressure 29.96 inches and falling. The wind is variable at 3 knots. Overnight low temperature was 76 degrees. Synopsis indicate light to moderate east to northeast winds and slight to moderate seas are expected over the Cayman area for the next 24 hours as a ridge of high pressure lingers northwest of the Caribbean Sea. Showers over the western Caribbean will continue to help reduce the hazy conditions across the Cayman area over the next few days. Radar images show scattered showers over the Cayman area, mainly to the south of Grand Cayman, which will continue to move towards the southwest. The forecast for today and tonight calling for partly cloudy and hazy skies with a 30% chance of showers and possible thunder. Temperatures today will be in the low 90s and will fall to the low 80s tonight. Winds today will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots, and for tonight, east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Low tide will be this afternoon at 12:58. High tide tonight at 7:59. The sun will set this evening at 5 minutes past 7 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:57. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through tomorrow morning.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Song Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving your goals is a very rewarding feeling, but at times can feel very frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success.
When setting your goals, tell a friend. Having an accountability partner is often helpful in achieving your goals. Let your parents and partner know what you are planning or doing. Sharing with others also helps us to develop the ideas and our vision. Writing down your goals can help to solidify them for you and help you to stay accountable.
Change your thinking and change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong Series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning. Let's take a look what's happening on the road. Some roads are wet, so please drive with extra caution. Traffic on the Linford Pearson Highway, busy at the moment. Coming off of Agnes Way as well. Steady traffic coming off of Bobby Thompson Way. Huldah Avenue, steady but flowing traffic, and traffic is moderate in both directions. On the Westway Road in front of the Ritz, and in and out of Georgetown on Shedden Road, not looking too bad, as traffic flowing moderately, as well as on Edward Street. Coming from the Westway 4-way stop, moderate flow of traffic, and traffic steady but flowing on Cool Road. On the Westway Road in front of the Ritz, moderate flow of traffic. If you've seen accidents or incidents on Cayman's roads, give us a call here at Radio Cayman, 949-6990. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report. Have a good morning and drive safe, Cayman Islands.
When you're tight on time and budget, but big on flavor, Subway's Meal of the Day hits the spot. Enjoy daily meals on classic sandwiches like tuna, Black Forest ham, meatball marinara, and more. Starting at $6.25 for 6-inch meals and $8.75 for footlongs. You can get Subway's Meal of the Day. Enjoy a different sandwich on a different day for the same price. Mix it up with cookies or chips or waffle fries for the same price. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Did you know about UCCI's Back to Uni giveaway? Up to $2,000 in prizes are being given away.
Serious? How can I win?
Easy! Just register early for fall classes and you'll be entered to win in one of UCCI's weekly giveaways. Maybe you'll get lucky and win one of the top 3 prizes, your choice of an iPad or a laptop computer.
Cool. I'm going online to register now.
Students can register online, make an in-person appointment, or drop in at UCCI. Visit ucci.edu.ky for more information on UCCI's Back to Uni giveaway.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy, now with a new and second location in Governor's Square. The new Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor's Square is open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField. We're going to talk a little bit about our Parliament. Some of you still refer to it as the Legislative Assembly. We're going to talk about the presentation of the Strategic Policy Statement. And we're also going to tell you some of the things that are in it. We will read from excerpts from some of the speeches that were made as well. And we will start with the Minister of Finance, the Honourable Chris Saunders, tabling the Strategic Policy Statement in our Parliament on Wednesday, the 14th of July 2021. So the Speaker acknowledged the Honourable Minister, and Minister responds saying, "Thank you, Mr. Minister." Mr. Speaker goes on to say, "Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the government, I beg to lay on the table of this Honourable Parliament the Strategic Policy Statement for the 2022-2024 financial years." And then, of course, he hands the document to the Sergeant at Arms, and the Sergeant at Arms, following the procedures, lays it on the table of Parliament. At that point, it, of course, becomes a public document once it is laid on the table of Parliament. And then the Speaker invited the Honourable Minister of Finance to speak to it. And Minister of Finance says, "Mr. Speaker, the government's 2022-2024 SPS outlines the government's fiscal plans, its policies and broad priorities and outcomes for the next 3 years for the period 1st of January 2022 to the 31st of December 2024. This strategic policy statement will also guide the development of the detailed budget for the next budget period, which will cover the years 2022 to 2023. So the strategic policy statement, right, 3 years, but the budget is a 2-year budget that we have. So we don't want you to confuse the two things. the strategic policy statement and the budget. One is 3 years. That is the strategic policy statement covers 3 years. The budget would cover 2 years, 2022 and 2023. Says that budget, Mr. Speaker, will be brought to this honorable Parliament in November, and I take it that he means November of this year. Goes on to say, Mr. Speaker, this SPS is the first one produced by this administration, and it accords with both the principles of responsible financial management and the terms of the framework of fiscal responsibility as set out in the Public Management and Finance Act. Mr. Speaker, the SPS also reflects the government's goals of improved fiscal prudence while creating an environment for economic growth and packed governance. Governance, Mr. Speaker, that is people-driven, accountable, competent, and transparent. And of course, those all speak to the acronyms PACT, P-A-C-T, people-driven, accountable, competent, and transparent. And then Docky goes on to talk about the broad strategic outcomes. Says, Mr. Speaker, this SPS is built on the PACT government making the necessary steps to make people's lives better in meaningful ways. The PACT government has crafted this SPS on strengthening our pillar industry of financial services, rebuilding and improving our tourism industry following the devastating impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, and diversifying our economy through new and developing industries. Goes on to say, over the next few years, the PACT government's key priorities and broad outcomes are, and one second, you can follow it on that document there. Sorry for that. So we're down now to over the next 4 years, the PACT government's key priorities and broad outcomes are: 1, improving education to promote lifelong learning and greater economic mobility. 2, ensure an equitable, sustainable, and successful healthcare system. 3, providing solutions to improve the well-being of our people so they can achieve their full potential. 4, strengthening good governance for more effective government. 5, supporting climate change, resilience, and sustainable development. 6, increasing social justice in the workforce. 7, utilizing sports to enhance the lives of our people. 8, building a modern infrastructure to ensure a successful future for our islands. 9, improving our financial services as an industry, product, and economic driver for our islands. And 10, improving our tourism industry as a product and economic driver. Then he goes on to talk about economic forecasts. You have that page?
Yes.
Go ahead and share that with our audience.
He said, Mr. Speaker, over the next 3 financial years, the Economics and Statistics Office has forecasted that our economy is expected to recover over the near term, beginning with a growth of 1.2% in 2021. Economic activity is expected to further accelerate by 4.7% in 2022 and an average of 2.9% per year between 2023 and 2025. Mr. Speaker, it should be noted that while most industries are expected to contribute to growth in 2021, led by construction, some industries such as hotels and restaurants, along with transport and storage, are not expected to grow. As the island continues to enforce measures that ensure the safety of our people, and in particular our children and other vulnerable groups. Mr. Speaker, the economic growth which is led by the construction sector will be directly influenced by several large construction projects from the private and public sector, including the NCB Hilton Hotel, the new Hyatt Hotel at the Pageant Beach site, the Indigo Hotel, completion of the John Gray High School, completion of the long-term mental health facility, and continued road network expansion and upgrade. Mr. Speaker, this government has made it a policy priority of ensuring that Caymanians have meaningful participation in the workforce and expects that this policy will shift the labor market dynamics and minimize the impact of displacements on the overall unemployment figure. We believe this policy will result in more Caymanians being employed and will result in the overall unemployment rate moving from a forecast of 5% in 2021 to 4.4% in 2022, and then average 3.6% in the remaining 3 years. Mr. Speaker, the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, which measures the change in retail prices, is expected to increase by 2.1% in 2021, by 1.9% in 2022, 2% in 2023, and by 2.6% in 2024. These forecast changes are primarily driven by forecasts in the United States, the principal market from which the Cayman Islands imports its consumer products.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there, and thank you very much for that. Ms. Susan, we do have a caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
I didn't have the opportunity of watching the opening yesterday, so I missed some of it. But I was really interested in hearing the Premier when he started touching on the police, because as you know, you and I had some discussion about that. Right. And I don't know if I was disappointed, but because he did mention about community policing. The only thing I listened for was, and I didn't hear, was foot patrol. And I'm not going to labor that because I already said what I felt about it. And I wonder why the Cayman Islands are the only place in the world that does not have police foot patrol. So I don't have the answer. I only know people are asking me, and I say, yeah, I can ask Mr. O.C.
Mm-hmm. But I'm going to interrupt for a second and say, when we say does not have, maybe we could couch that in a different language and say that we do not have a preponderance of foot patrols as we used to have in the past. Because I believe that there's still some elements of that, however small it may be, and certainly not to the extent that we had it before. And I know your concern also is that, you know, you see them driving around in cars, but how effective is driving around in a car? How is that as effective as, you know, being there, walking and talking to people and as well?
Right. Sorry. Because, so see, during the time we had foot patrol, those police were meeting people in their neighborhoods. They knew their names. They spoke to them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And they got some good information. And I don't know what brought about the change. I don't know who did it, but I really feel strongly that we need to have it back. You said, I couldn't argue with you that there's a minimum amount of foot patrol.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably right. You're living in Georgetown, but where I live, I don't see any. So I'm not going to stay on. I know others are waiting, probably got some interesting things to say. And I'll just say, God bless you and Ms. Susan and Mr. Mike Field. And we are here in Radio Land. Thank you all very much.
Mm-hmm. Before you go to the caller, I mean, I live actually in Lower Valley, and we have a strong element of community policing there. And while we don't necessarily have foot patrols, we do have the patrol vehicles that go into the various neighborhoods. They report, they tell you sometimes where they are at that point. And some people may say, well, if they're telling you where they are, other people may know as well, what we actually have chat groups on WhatsApp for the various communities, and they will come through and tell you what time they have been through there, anything that they have observed. And I would say to you that in your area where you live, if there is no element of community policing there, get in touch with your the precinct, your station house, and the person in charge there, or get in touch. I think Mr. Butch Miles, Courtney Miles, is still involved in it as well, and they can arrange to get a community policing group set up, for your area. I find it to be extremely, extremely effective.
I'm glad to hear you saying about Mr. Courtney Miles. He's a good man, and if he tells me something, I can believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ms. Dorsey, I'm glad to know that you're in your area, you're getting community communication with the police. And my only concern is that I feel like we could have a safer, quieter island if we had some police patrol, because I'm judging from the past. I mean, I saw so much good that came out of foot patrol. Anyway, thank you very much again, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a good day and an excellent weekend as well. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue, so please stay tuned.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com, or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
The HSA Specialist Clinic has relocated to a new, modern, state-of-the-art facility at Smith Road Center to offer you a better patient experience. Receive care from top specialists in chiropractic, complementary and alternative medicine, neurology, ENT, urology, pain management, and more. Our orthopedic and telemedicine clinics remain at the Cayman Islands Hospital campus. Please remember to bring your own face mask when visiting any HSA location. Visit our website, hsa.ky, to learn more. At the HSA, you matter to us.
Students ages 14 to 17 are invited to participate in a free 7-day journalism and media summer camp from 9th to 13th August with follow-up sessions on the 17th and 20th of August. During the camp, students will learn what it takes to be an investigative journalist, visit local media houses for behind-the-scenes and hands-on experience, and produce a news report to run in local media. Registration details can be found on mindsinspired.ky. The deadline to apply is Friday, 16th July.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McPhail. Doctor, were you able to locate what the Premier in his address on the strategic policy statement said in relation to the police and any other items? Can you share that with us?
Yes, I can. Just let me find it again.
Okay. Meanwhile,
there was.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go on. You can go on.
Do we have a caller, Ms. Susan? Yes. No callers. Okay.
Okay. I found it.
Found it. Okay, go ahead.
And this is in the middle of the document. This is specifically to what the caller just referred to.
Mm-hmm.
Government's ministries, portfolios, and offices are expected to spend approximately $331 million to fund the following: completion of all phases of the John Gray High School in Georgetown, as well as other critical education infrastructure. Invest in a new submarine communication cable system, security improvements to the prison facilities, procurement of patrol vessels for the Coast Guard, specialized equipment for the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, modernization of local infrastructure, including the road network, and the purchase of lands for national environmental conservation, to name a few. So, what he has alluded to here in the SPS is that the police would get specialized equipment to fight crime and to detect and to control crime.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what he says specifically to the Royal Cayman Islands Police.
Okay, so we know that at some point the opposition's position was that there was no meat on the bone in relation to the strategic policy statement. But what are your views in relation to what this strategic policy statement is designed to achieve?
Well, Mr. McTaggart, the Honorable McTaggart, the leader of the opposition, the opposition, was asking, "Where is the beef?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the beef?" But the beef is right here in the SPS. And what it seems to me is that this SPS, this government has really put their emphasis on the Caymanian people and the Caymanians, what the Caymanian people asked them to do when they elected them. It seems to me nearly everything here is to improve the Caymanian people's position in their country. And I would just like to allude to some of that.
Okay.
What they said here, what it goes on to say here is that, and just let me find it again.
Okay. While you find out, I'll remind our callers that if you want to engage in the conversation, toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261. For those of you who may be curious to know in terms of what the government, how the government is going to finance these things, the Minister of Finance, Honorable Chris Saunders, also spoke about borrowings, and he pointed out that in 2021, the government intends to borrow $230 million and a further $100 million in 2022. The total borrowing of $330 million will be used along with operating revenues to fund capital investments by government, which total $331 million, and government's investments in statutory authorities and government companies of $103 million over the SPS forecast period. Also pointed out that the government is expected to pay off approximately $145 million in outstanding government debt. At 31 of December 2024, it is forecast that the government will have a debt balance of $398 million, which will represent 7% of gross domestic product, one of the lowest in the world. And just to add to that, you would have heard, if you listened to, if you followed the proceedings of the LA on Radio Cayman or on some other media, you would have known that yesterday the Parliament adjourned until the Finance Committee meets and reports, is ready to report back to the Parliament. And I believe in the news it has been indicated that Finance Committee will meet starting on this coming Monday as well. I just want to point out also, for those of you who did not have the opportunity to listen to the proceedings of our Parliament live, that you can go to YouTube and find it and follow it at your convenience. You know, you can follow a portion of it and turn it off or whatever, and go back to where resume where you ended and continue to follow it, as well. So we want to encourage you to do that, because I don't want you to take my word or Dr. Steve McField's word for everything. You can hear it all. You can hear it all for yourself. Doc?
Yes. The point I wanted to make comes in his conclusion. He said, Mr. Speaker, the safety of the people living in the Cayman Islands and the recovery of its economy are the top priorities of the PAC government. The government recognizes that difficult decisions have to be made to counter the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, but the decisions must be made with prudent fiscal limits. Simply put, Mr. Speaker, we have to be responsible with the people's money. The financial targets set out in this SPS allows for funding of key policy initiatives, including enhancing education programs, expanding and modernizing healthcare, enhancing social development programs, sustainable development, understanding climate change resilience, and supporting the financial service sector of being a mainstay economic driver in the Cayman Islands. Okay. And then he went on to say, the government recognizes that setting these financial targets are not just simply numbers, but that these targets affect the lives of our citizens at a personal level, Mr. Speaker. We are talking about a child having daily meals at schools or persons having access to adequate quality health care. Mr. Speaker, this government remains steadfast in its commitment to delivering its programs of improving the quality of life for all Caymanians, whilst balancing the need to manage the country's finances in an accountable, competent, and transparent manner. But most importantly, Mr. Speaker, being people-driven and making sure that we put people first. So there it is.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com, or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat. especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
West Bay, home to Barkas National Park, the touristy flair, a family community, a political powerhouse. From sports enthusiasts to car aficionados, affection for silver thatch rope. No matter how far you may venture, West Bay will always be where the heart is. Home will always be in West Bay. West Bay Pharmacy, caring for your home and your family. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient, quality care is just around the corner.
Inaja Productions, in association with Cash Wiz Cayman, presents Cash Wiz Cayman Kids Got Talent Show at the Line Center on Saturday, July 17. Start the summer right and come out. Support and cheer on our kids as they show off their God-given talent. Showtime 5 p.m. Tickets are available at Cash Wiz Cayman and at the gate. Admission only $15. Part proceeds go to Feed Our Future. So join us on July 17 and experience an evening of talents. Special guest performances by recording artist Rico Rolando. I wish I still loved you. Steel Pan solo act Ruby Polita and CKGT 2018 winner magician Joshua Cowell. Cayman Kids Got Talent is sponsored by Cashways, CUC, Health City, Ministry of Financial Services and Commerce, People's Choice Groceries, LED Lighting Engineering and Design, KPMG, Seaport Marine, Butterfield Bank, the #1 shoe shop, K-Cool Ice Cream, CL Construction, Cellular World, Radio Cayman, Breeze FM, and Inaja Productions.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McPhail. We're discussing the debate on the strategic policy statement that was tabled in the Legislative Assembly on Wednesday by the PAC government. That debate that took place, we know that the Minister of Finance spoke to it. We also know that the Premier, Honorable Wayne Panton, gave his presentation in relation to it as well. We also know that the Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Roy McTaggart, had comments, and we're going to try to share excerpts from all of that, all of those debates with you as we possibly can. Again, the strategic policy statement is required by law. And the 14th was the last date that it should have been, had to be tabled in our Parliament, and that was done in accordance with the law. What we're trying to pull as much as possible from that date, from that data. So when in the strategic policy statement itself, the Premier also issued a message, and here's what he said there. He said, I consider, this is a part of the SPS actually, it an honor to provide this message with respect to the government of the Cayman Islands strategic policy statement for financial years 2022 to 2024. He goes on to point out that it details the PAC government's public finance plan for public finance, and the fact that it maintains the principles of sound financial management. We shared all of that with you, before. he pointed out a core aspect of the approach. The approach was that people do not have to suffer in order for a government to employ sensible fiscal discipline. Rather, a targeted approach to budgeting puts public funds where they are most needed and reduces them where they are not doing the most good. He says it in the SBS, we have put our money where our mouth is, so to speak. Our strategies and policies are people-driven. You will see strategic spending aimed at programs that will benefit and enrich the people of the Cayman Islands. It says, despite the setbacks of COVID-19 pandemic, investor confidence in Cayman economy remains high. He pointed that out as well. And so he spoke positively of it. But what we want to draw a contrast is the comment and the charge made that there's no meat on the bone, and whether or not how much meat can be put on the bone when you're presenting a strategic policy. And a lot of that, the seasoning, and all of that will come later on in terms of the specific programs. For instance, I'll use one example.
Yes.
They speak about the fact that they will be providing free lunches at school.
Yes.
For individuals. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a broad statement. And now, how those free lunches will be provided will come later on in the details. For instance, are there going to be free lunches for everyone, irrespective of whether or not you can afford to pay for your own lunch?
I don't know. It says
because
free meals in public schools is listed as it says. But the thing that I see here is that the free lunches, the free food, the free meals have to begin way before you get into public school.
Yeah, I understand that. But what before we get into that detail, what I'm saying is that it's mentioned that will be done.
Yes.
Now, how it will be done, to whom it will apply, those will come in the finer details later on.
Yes.
For instance, like I said, is it everyone? Suppose you can afford to do so. The other thing is that you would have to take into consideration in that, do you want to ostracize some students?
I think
because of the fact that
I think
they're getting it for free because their families can't afford it, but the other child on the other end is not getting his for free because they can afford, and that child to look in a derogatory way at the person who is getting it for free. And you start to create that class structure. So these are all of the decisions that will have to be made and will come out in the wash at the end of the day. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is that I hope that in considering the free meals that they start from the kindergarten, they start from the
preschool,
from the preschool,
okay,
because that is where the damage really starts.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the preschool now, I think unless they were to change that, those families who cannot afford preschool, there was a program in place, and I stand to be corrected. I believe it is still in place that those are subsidized by government, and government will assist or pay for the preschooling
no,
costs.
That's not what I mean. I mean, there should be a program for a health breakfast for all of those children who go to the preschools, and there should be nutritionists assigned to preschools to make sure that these children are getting that initial breakfast. The babies and people who are going there are getting that initial breakfast when they get to the preschool in the morning. And not only that, but they should also have some older people in the preschools who can assist those children, pass on the history and the sociology and the psychology to them in the preschools. And not only that, but it would assist some of those older people in our society who are now retired. That would give them something to do, to be a part of this the preschool system. That's what I would like to see, because it's at the preschool where people begin to have their problems when they don't have adequate breakfast. There should be an adequate meal that's set up by a nutritionist from the preschool level that goes all the way up to the high school. That's my take on it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. He's also talking about technical and vocational education and training curriculum starting at the primary schools. I think that is something that has been needed last decade, and I'm so happy to see that the government, the strategic, the paper is talking about that also, starting at that vocational education and starting at the primary school, because that's where it should start. And people should know from the primary level where a student is going to go, whether he's going to go in the technical education, vocational education, or where he's going to academia or in the professional class of people. He also said that he planned to expand the scholarship age for postgraduate degrees programs. And I'm happy about that too, because usually now, if you want to go on to do postgraduate work, they say, well, we don't have any money for that. They will only help you for the first degree, but will not help you for the postgraduate degree.
And the thing, if I could interrupt there for a second, in terms of, you don't necessarily have to go off any island anymore in terms of when you're doing postgraduate degrees,
No, you don't.
Online.
Yes.
I mean, some people may want to go overseas to get that experience and, sometimes a more hands-on approach. But for those persons who have families and find it difficult to uproot or to be separated for any given period of time, it is so much easier, so much more simple now to do that as well. Top of the hour, headline news at 9 o'clock. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Radio Cayman, the voice,
the heart,
the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported the results of 335 COVID-19 tests on Thursday. All came back negative. So far, 65% of Cayman's population is fully vaccinated. President Joe Biden has welcomed outgoing Chancellor Angela Merkel to Washington, saying that the U.S. and Germany will stand together against Russian aggression. Mr. Biden said he had voiced concern to Mrs. Merkel over a Russia to Germany gas pipeline, but they agreed Moscow cannot be allowed to use energy as a weapon. The U.S. president said the two allies also opposed anti-democracy actions by China. Mrs. Merkel, who has worked with 4 U.S. presidents, is leaving office. A new study shows that younger adults admitted to hospital with COVID are almost as likely to suffer from complications as those over 50 years old. 4 in 10 of those between the ages of 19 and 49 developed problems with their kidneys, lungs, or other organs while treated. The research looked at 73,000 adults of all ages across 302 UK hospitals in the first wave of COVID 2020. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve Macfield. We're discussing the debate in the Legislative Assembly on the strategic policy statement. One of the things I found interesting was that, and I'm not sure whether or not this had been done before or whether or not this is the first time, but the Premier yesterday in his debate pointed out that they had written, I believe it may have been done through the Financial Secretary on behalf of the Premier, inviting the Leader of the Opposition to put forward any proposals or suggestions that he or his colleagues had in relation to contributing to the strategic policy statement. Mm-hmm. And that apparently was done, and I'll try to I'll find that and share that with our audience as well. And that was done, and I find that to be, should I say, extraordinary to a certain extent, but at the same time unusual, because these are policy statements
of the government,
of the government,
of the elected government.
But here he invited the opposition as well, and it seems as if some were included, whether or not they were already there, or whether or not some that weren't there and suggested by the Leader of the Opposition, were included. Now, you would expect that more in terms of a budget.
Yes.
But in a strategic policy statement, I found that, and that can be attributed. Now, persons can attribute it to various things, but it can also be attributed to the fact that here we have the government extending a hand and saying, we want you to join us
and to be
in
part
this
of
endeavor, and to be part of making Cayman the place that we want it to be.
Yes, for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But bearing in mind that the opposition also represent a group of people.
Yeah.
They also represent people, a group of people.
7 constituencies.
Seven constituencies.
Yeah.
And so I thought that gesture was extraordinary, to say the least.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So the government also, the Premier also outlined plans to rehabilitate the prisoners.
Mm-hmm. Sound like we have to rehabilitate the prison officers first.
Yes. And to give them, he speaks about a second chance program that matches offenders with job opportunities, and he also spoke about decriminalizing marijuana as a means to reduce discrimination against young people in education and employment.
Okay. Now, how and we know you don't have to reinvent the wheel for that as well. Mm-hmm. But how would you go about doing that? You would look at the amounts and prescribe by law. What the amount should be, and whether or not it is intended for personal use, as opposed to
sale,
being trafficked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Because how do you prevent someone like a prison officer? Of course, when you find it in their shoe and stuff like that, it's very difficult for them to say that it's for my personal use. We're going to use it while you were on the job or what?
Yes.
So how would you go about crafting that? Because we see in the U.S., for instance, where they have a problem where, and the Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas has remarked about this as well, the fact that you have federal laws and then you have state laws in relation to it, and there is no coordination between federal laws and state laws in that regard. We don't have that problem.
We don't have that problem.
But what we have to be able to separate is the criminal use, the use of it for criminal purposes, trafficking, as opposed for personal use.
Yes. I think they could look at legislation in other jurisdictions and borrow some stuff from them. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. And then he goes on to talk about government guaranteeing home assisted mortgages and reduce stamp duty on land for Caymanians. And to earmark as policy goals for affordable housing. And I guess what they are, I hope that out of that point, that bullet point comes some sort of land bank for Caymanians. He also talked about end of dependency on cheap labor and cheap labor and proposes increasing minimum wage and consideration of implementing a universal basic income. Now, you know what countries have a universal basic income, guaranteed income. As the Scandinavian countries, they have guaranteed income. If you don't make a certain amount of money, then your income is subsidized by government. He also talks about creating fully functional offices for the members of parliament and implementing district councils. The district council that we lament and talk about here, that we do not have today after something like 11 years with the Constitution being in the force now. We also talk about the environment, stiffer fines for environmental violations, and plans to limit the sale of crown lands and provide further protection to mangroves. And he wants environmental education in public schools and public education on the impact of climate change is some of his plans.
Okay. We do have a caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Oshie, and good morning, Steve McPhail.
Good morning. How are you doing? Haven't heard your voice in a while.
Yes.
Hope all is well.
Well, I kind of laid off there for a while from calling, but I was waiting, like, I listened to everything you guys said. I want to congratulate you for getting Steve, because the two of you work together like a team. I mean, and you're so both knowledgeable about things in Cayman and whatnot.
Thank you.
But as I listened to the debate yesterday, of it, the opposition, so-called, that's one of the things that I wish that we wouldn't do. We should never use the word opposition, because it sounds like because anybody up there is opposing everything that the other side is doing. And that's a bad thing. Why don't you say the old backbenchers? That would better to me, because now, we have people on the other side, and if they make a statement, then they assume it's something they want to get rid of them or something like that, and that's not good. In life, we have to cooperate. We have to work together. If we're going to make Cayman a good place, all sides have to work together. And like I always say that, I remember in the days when they had the old guys that was there years ago, back in the 50s and 60s, that they had differences in opinion too. But the thing that they would do was to sit down and discuss it, and then they would come to a conclusion, and then that would be what they would do. But I think egos play a big part in some of the people that are now, have been lately in office. They feel that they have a right to oppose things from anybody else because it's their portfolio and they want to be the ones that call the shots. But until we get where we can cooperate and everybody sit down and say, this is Cayman, we are all Caymanians, let us work together and get the best thing for the young people, the children that are coming up. And I'm telling you, I am kind of concerned about that because I don't think Caymanians making a lot of babies now. And I noticed that we're getting babies from, foreign nationals come in, they make babies, don't have to go back anymore. They can stay as long as they want. They become Caymanians. So remember now, no matter how long you've been in here, if you're from X, Y, Z, and you have, a tradition of doing things, you want to do it that way, and this is what's going to be, we got to be careful with. But to say this morning, ladies and gentlemen, that I would like to see all the legislators in the House I would like to get rid of the opposition thing. and just say the backbenchers, and then people who, and I've noticed it, this recently happening, that people from opposite sides can now sit down and talk and make suggestions and look at it as a team and then do what is right for this island. That's all I ask of anybody, because, you know, we all Caymanians, if we got to live like friends and get along better, then you won't have, you know, we'll eliminate a lot of crime and all that kind of thing when we do this work together. Gentlemen, it is my pleasure to talk with you this morning. I'm glad that the two of you get together and you have a fantastic, I just love to listen to it. Have a good day, fellas.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Doc.
So the Premier also spoke about limiting the number of second-hand cars being imported from Japan, and then promote the use of electric vehicles in the public transportation system.
Again, those are broad statements that are made,
yes.
and
yes.
we expect that the details in terms of how that will, how those things
yes.
will come into effect to come
yes.
later on.
And he also speaks about encouraging recycling and reducing the waste, and to raise the duty on items that are not environmentally friendly. And he also speaks about enhancing job opportunities for Caymanians through a database-driven, robust compliance approach. He talks about reducing the number of fraudulent employment advertisements and implementing a system of match-all work permit application to employment Caymanians with the relevant skills and experience. He talks about assisting with the employment of Caymanians, and stated that an accreditation system that rewards employers for hiring, training, and development of Caymanians would be implemented. And he was saying that the government was considering increasing the work permit fees in areas where Caymanian labor is readily available. And he also called for naming and shaming of companies that consistently engage in poor labor practices. And he's talking about a fair and safe workplace environment, and he also said that the government plans to promote diversity in the workplace and introduce national wellness program that incentivize employers and encourage employees to strike a better work-life balance, and to implement national and anti-bullying and sexual harassment policies and legislation. And he also refers to plans to establish a center that offers free labor advice so employees are aware of their rights and obligations. And I would say to him, if he's listening or his government listening, that perhaps he should speak to myself and my colleague about the work we have done to try to implement a legal service office here some time ago, so that people could know their rights. And
that would be you and Ms. Teresa?
Ms. Teresa Pitcairn.
Yeah.
We try to implement a legal office similar to what they call public offenders office in other jurisdictions, so people can know their rights and can come and get free legal education that the government would be paying for. He also talked about legislation to protect disabled, elderly, and other vulnerable groups. And he talks about enhancing the sports funds to sports and the quality of sports. And he also talked about existing sport venues, including additional general exercise areas, and increase the number of swimming pools available for public use. And I do not understand why he must have been listening to me preaching this. Why is it that we only have one public swimming pool, and that is in an area where it's inaccessible to most people? There should be swimming pool in most all of the not electoral districts, but in every district there should be a swimming pool in East End, Borden Town, or there should be one for the Eastern District and in West Bay, where kids can go and swim. And not only swimming pools, there also should be tennis courts where people can learn that sport, and not just football fields. there should be tennis courts in Georgetown. Other than the private tennis courts in South Sound, there should be tennis courts in the areas where the young people can learn that sport and can try to take up that sport, because not only is it a good sport, it's a good sport for exercise, but it's also a lucrative sport. If they learn, they can make money out of that sport also.
Okay. We have to take a commercial break now, Doc. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Yes.
Growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Health City is now open at Camana Bay, offering a wide range of specialties at our state-of-the-art Camana Bay Clinic. We are here to help you save time and feel better. We are open weekdays, weekends, and evenings for your convenience, and are dedicated to reducing your wait time while improving your health. Friendly staff, expert care, lab services, and diagnostics in one convenient location from the hospital you know and trust. Health City at Camana Bay, within your reach.
West Bay, home to Barkas National Park, the touristy flair, a family community, a political powerhouse. From sports enthusiasts to car aficionados, affection for silver thatch rope. No matter how far you may venture, West Bay will always be where the heart is. Home will always be in West Bay. West Bay Pharmacy, caring for your home and your family. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient, quality care is just around the corner.
Do you know why vaping is considered toxic? Vaping devices work by turning liquids to vapor for users to inhale. Vaping liquids contain a variety of substances. Vaping can cause acute lung injury. People actually don't know what they're inhaling. There is really no regulatory oversight over who is making these liquids, where and how they're making these liquids, and what kind of components are present in these liquids. Ask questions. To learn more about vaping, contact the NDC at 949-9000 or check out our website at www.ndc.ky. This message was brought to you by the National Drug Council and Radio Cayman.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve Macfield. We're discussing the debate on the strategic policy statement that was tabled in our tabled and debated in our legislative assembly or in our parliament. It was tabled on Wednesday, the 14th of July, this past Wednesday, by the Minister for Finance, Honorable Chris Saunders, subsequently debated in the Parliament as well, and we're sharing that with you. Now, Doc,
yes.
there are many objectives, many things to be accomplished here. Some, we may ask, which ones are aspirational and which ones
are prioritized.
Going to be prioritized, because I'm not sure whether or not we know that the priority right now is really keeping us safe from COVID-19
and opening up the borders
safely, as well. There are some things that can be achieved while we're trying to do that. For instance, improvements in education, because to a certain extent, the outside doesn't influence that in terms of travel and everything else. So there are certain things. So what is important to see is which ones are going to take priority over others. We have also noted, based on the questions that were asked of ministers in the Parliament and the responses that were given, that many, if not all, of the infrastructural projects that were started will continue and have continued. For instance, I think I heard the road on Dorsey Drive, the mental health facility in East End.
That is almost completed now.
Right. Other areas, the extension of the Godfrey Nixon Road over to I'm going to call it Seafarers Way, because as far as I'm concerned, Seafarers Way goes all the way down
to North Church Street
to the ports of call area. So all the way there. And what was enlightening also was the fact that since the new PAC government came into the administration, that minister actually either went or discussed with the former Minister for Roads that particular portion there, and what the issues are in relation to compensation for some property owners before they're able to enter into their property and stuff like that. So again, we see the outreach. Yes. Now we're going to move away from the strategic policy statement for a while and talk about what and some of our one of our callers called in about this whole issue of opposition and whether or not it should be an opposition. But it is quite clear from the onset that the PAC government was seeking, I would call it a government of national unity to a certain extent. The invitation was extended. And we know that based on the debate as well, that the leader of the opposition was invited over to join the PAC government. Whether or not that was a realistic possibility is another question, because to me that would be unusual. I could see that if it were, let's say, three parties or another party, and the leader of the opposition and his group decided that we're going to support this particular, government. But it would be hard pressed for the leader of the opposition to leave his party to join. Then how does he, it's a very difficult balancing act to achieve. We know the former Minister of Education and current Minister of Education, same person, that she went over and she helped to form part of the government. But it is quite obvious that the hand of friendship was extended. Now, the reasons for that, I can't say because I'm not into people's head. But at least the offer was put out there.
Yeah, the offer was put out for him to bring his wish list, to bring the things that he see that he wanted to implement for his constituencies and for their constituencies, and that they still control. Because remember now, they still how many? They're 7. Was it 7 constituencies that they represent?
Yeah.
So it was extraordinary that he held out. What in America, what they say, the olive branch. Well, we don't have any olives here, but we have mangoes. So he held out.
And it's mango season.
He held out the mango branch to him with ripe mangoes on it, and perhaps Matt Taggart didn't want the inner ripe mangoes. Perhaps he wants the green ones.
Like I said, it's difficult for the leader of the party to go over and form the part of the ruling government. That is very difficult. We do have a caller, Ms. Susan. Oh, okay. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Sorry for that.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning, Dr. Steve.
Good morning, ma'am.
I was listening to you just now, reading out what was, I guess, tabled, coming from the Minister of Finance with their wish list or their future plans. What I was listening out for, and I don't know if it was said, and I didn't recognize it, and this is something I've been asking for over 20 years, that I feel strongly about, that, and I guess this falls on the labor. Sometimes people get injured on the job, and they cannot return to work. And as it was explained to me, medically and legally, disability depends, or it's graded, depending on what you did, as a profession. Doesn't mean that you're then confined to a wheelchair for the rest of your life, but as long as you're not able to return to what, you were trained for or what you did. And this has happened to quite a few people. And the only justification, I guess you could say, that the victim gets is if they can sue the company. And in the interim, as you can imagine, the company already don't want to do right by the person, so if they have to sue them, they become very vindictive in instances where, they have actually gone ahead, canceled the person's health insurance, and, they don't get any kind of, even a portion of their salary or anything like that. And I feel that should be addressed, and because ultimately most of those people end up becoming the responsibility of the government or the country, regardless of which government is sitting there. And it could be rectified if you amended the law so that if they do have to take legal action, at least they can get a lawyer and to represent them, and in the meantime that the companies not be able to act in such a vindictive way until the matter has been settled either between the two parties or by a judge. So, like I said, I don't know if that was covered in what you read out, but as you say, if they're listening, I hope that too would be considered. I mean, it goes into a lot more detail than that, but, it is, and former Minister Roy Borden, is very familiar with quite a few of these matters when he was the Minister of Labour, and his hands were always tied because there was no law that he could work with to help anyone that went to him. And if you call the Labour office, then they would say, oh, we have workman's comp. It's not the same, because they don't understand it either.
Well, ma'am, it seems to me that what you were talking about is what happens in some other jurisdictions where you have liability insurance and you also have injury insurance, and it doesn't fall in a company. It falls on and most big companies, most companies in Canada I know carry that, and so if you get hurt on the job and stuff, you don't have to worry that you're going to be taken care of because their insurance policies take care of that. All we have here is workman compensation, which pays a few bills for you at the hospital, and that's about it. You're on your own after that.
Right, and that's my point.
Yes.
It needs to be amended, and this has been going on forever. And like I said, what happens to the person who cannot afford a lawyer? And then I might add to that the lawyers, I don't know if you call it association or what, they also introduced something where, and you can correct me here, Dr. Steve, where if you did file the writ, you had to pay X amount of money to file the writ, and then for every day that, you go to court, you had to pay X amount of money to go to court.
Well, that's the reason why Teresa and I, some years ago, started to try to implement what they call a legal service office in Cayman, that would give you that would do that work for you, and you wouldn't have to pay. It would be funded from some government would be funding funding that as it's like what they have in other places called public defender law, where you could go and it would relieve the high cost of litigation, and also give you the right to get your rights. It gave you the right to have your rights vindicated in the courts, or in the system, what tribunal or wherever you needed to have your rights vindicated. The legal service office would do that for you, but we didn't succeed. The then governor called a commission of inquiry to see whether that should be implemented, and of course there was a lot of partisanship in it and bias. And it was obvious to us that certain people did want it because they thought they would lose some money from their farms, and they condemned it for obvious reasons. And it died of a death.
But maybe it hasn't died. It might just be in a coma. You know?
Well, yes. Well, perhaps. But
I always say.
But we did all the work. We have all the paperwork. We still have did all the work. And
nothing wrong with trying to resurrect it. You know, you never know what might happen now.
True.
Like I said, I feel very strongly about it, and it really needs to be revisited. And like as I said, I know that former Minister Borden is very familiar with quite a few of these cases, and he could give some input there if they want it from him. And, you know, and if I'm not mistaken, and please correct me here, I believe he had even started drafting something regarding, you know, all of these matters that had been taken to him. And that was shot down for various reasons. But it is not fair because, unfortunately, that too, coming from the companies, that's treated with bias. Because if you are Caymanian, you know, you get trampled on. But, of course, if you're some other nationality, you're taken care of for the rest of your life. And it's really not fair. And I mean, for a country that we're so rich and we're so first world and all of this kind of stuff.
All those are cliches. All those doesn't mean anything, really, man. Don't go by all of that stuff. That you will be fooled.
Yeah, but you see, I don't. That's why I'm saying, at the very least, you can't brag about these things or boast or claim these things if you don't have the basic necessities put in place for your own people. So since now they're looking at helping their own people, I think this is one of the things they should seriously look at. I'm not saying it could happen overnight or will happen overnight, but it would never happen if it's not addressed.
Yes.
And I heard the two of you gentlemen speaking just now about, I think the legalizing of marijuana for personal use and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I'm sure you all follow the news. And yesterday, President Biden marked yesterday as a great day in history. And one of the things he would be most proud of in his administration, and that was when he introduced the credit tax thing for the children and families. And then he also went on to talk about, he and the Vice President spoke about legalizing marijuana federally so that all states are on the same page. And in the same way that it was mentioned just now, you know, that for personal use, you know, you don't get a conviction and a criminal record and stuff, you know, that destroys your life then going onwards, and especially that too was treated with a bias, that it's most of the black people or the poorer people who were being arrested, you know, and thrown into prison just for one stick of weed, you know. So I'm happy that too is being addressed.
Okay. Caller, I want to thank you very much for that. We're 5 minutes over a commercial break. Miss Susan, apologies for that, but sometimes we want to give people an opportunity to fully express themselves as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
The 7 a.m. news Monday through Friday is proudly sponsored by CG Britke Insurance, Health, Pensions, Life, where people come first.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McPhail. We're talking about the strategic policy statement, the debate that took place in our parliament on Wednesday and, of course, yesterday as well. And the Premier's speech was pretty extensive, very, very extensive. And you can understand why, because he wanted to cover all of the bases. And I'm trying to pull out from that speech some of the more salient points and issues. And here is one. He says, Mr. Speaker, it's a sad mindset that many people have in our community. Speaking about the lack of experience. And it says it is one of the reasons education is important and why this government has made education a top priority. Mr. Speaker, I recognize the number of broad outcomes as well as the initiative in the strategic policy statement. The initiatives in the strategic policy statement may be a lot for the Honorable Leader of the Opposition and his colleagues to digest, and as such, I will go through them a bit more in detail, again, for his edification and understanding. I will add a bit more meat to. Remember, we spoke about the fact that it wasn't where's the meat, and I hope he is still hungry after the lunch, because here we go. So this was when he continued his debate after the lunch, and there's a part that he talks about education. We say we have allowed a myth to take over our public education system, that our children coming through the public school system have been poorly educated. They are not fit for the job market. That being Caymanian and being educated within one of the best funded education systems per capita in the region somehow makes them less than those individuals educated elsewhere. This is a lie that we have allowed to take root in the hearts and minds of our students and our people. I have seen it impact their self-esteem and self-confidence. It is a lie that we have allowed to chip away at our sense of pride in who we are. But our external exam results, our curriculum, the performance of our students, the dedication of our teachers and administrators prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the big lie is just that, a fallacy, a myth, a construction of falsehood. Yes, there are areas in our public education system that need correction, and with the strong education standards structure, the education standard structure we now have in place, they are being addressed and will continue to be addressed. Ongoing improvements will be made to ensure that every Caymanian child receives a quality education that opens their horizons rather than limits their viewpoint. To meet our first broad outcomes, we are building a stronger integrated education foundation by firstly providing free meals in public schools. So that's where we talked about with the start in terms of the free meals and stuff like that as well. So he went into more depth there, even though he didn't go into specifics, as to what each step will entail. But that was it. Another thing that was important also, Dr. says, as we work to continue to improve the lives of our people, we need to take a hard look at social justice in the workplace. We believe we should establish a national job criteria list to reduce the number of misleading employment ads, as well as implement a system to match all work permit applications to unemployed Caymanians with the relevant skills and experience. What I find that he isn't mentioned here, and we know that the Minister for Tourism and Transport was a strong advocate for, was also identifying certain occupations where no work permits would be issued, that they would be reserved for Caymanians only. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C.
Good morning, ma'am.
This is Georgia Lebanks, and good morning to Dr. Steve McField, if he's still there.
Good morning, Miss Georgette. How are you, ma'am?
I'm so thankful to God that I'm still alive.
Yes.
As I just told Miss Susan, and she knows it's true, I'm not long-winded.
Yes.
But I just want to say something very quickly. When I attended Triple C school and I was in the first graduating class, thank God, our teachers, a few of them were Caymanian, but the majority were from America. And they prepared us. It taught us and prepared us in such a way that those of us who wanted to go away to America especially to further our education, we were, I must say, totally prepared to enter any college or university in the U.S. You even were taught in those days, which I'm sure they don't have to do now, the way to fold your mail and in such a way that when the person who received it and opened it up, they saw what it was all about almost in the first sentence. And I am so happy to say that several of the out of the group that graduated with me went on to the U.S. and furthered their education, and they did quite well. But unfortunately, what I've been hearing about students who graduate from our high schools I had a former teacher many years ago, and I mean many years ago, tell me, and that teacher was almost crying when she said that some of the children who were passing through and supposedly graduating were not even able to read properly. And if you can't read properly, how can you learn and how much? And I thank you for giving me all this time to run up my mouth, and Mr. O.C. and Dr. Steve McField and all the MLAs from our premier right down. I pray for all of you all the time, that those in the House from our premier and every MP, member of Parliament,
yes,
will get along together in peace. And whatever each one of you does, think first, is this going to help the people on our 3 islands? God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Georgette, and all the best to you as well.
Yes,
We're going to take our last commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Health City is now open at Camana Bay, offering a wide range of specialties at our state-of-the-art Camana Bay Clinic. We are here to help you save time and feel better. We are open weekdays, weekends, and evenings for your convenience and are dedicated to reducing your wait time while improving your health. Friendly staff, expert care, lab services, and diagnostics in one convenient location from the hospital you know and trust. Health City at Camana Bay, within your reach.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Want to continue your education but don't have the money? UCCI has more than $100,000 in new scholarships, but you need to apply by July 16th. You may qualify for up to $4,000 per year, depending on your area of study. Several new scholarships are targeted at students with financial need. The money is there, but the deadline is approaching fast. Visit ucci.edu.ky/financial aid. Call 623-8224. or visit the on-campus one-stop center for more information.
The Needs Assessment Unit is extending its NAU is in our district initiative until the end of the year. To get NAU advice and support in your district, please take note of the following walk-in dates and locations for July. Easton Civic Center from 9 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. and Northside Public Library from 1 p.m. until 3:30 p.m. happening on Friday, July 9th. Bordentown Public Library on Friday, July 16th from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. and West Bay Public Library on Friday, July 23rd from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. To contact the Needs Assessment Unit in Grand Cayman, call 946-0024 or 948-8758 in Cayman Brac.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're in the last leg of the show this morning. A few WhatsApp messages that we received as well, so I want to share them with you. This one says, good morning, gentlemen. I listened intently to the strategic policy statement last evening, and we were very pleased with the priorities outlined by the government. This is how a premier should outline, plan strategic goals. This is a lot of good news where the development of our people is being put first. It is hard to see how these priorities can be credibly criticized, while how we fund these initiatives can be debated. Implementing impact fees on development is just one of the many areas where government can earn significant revenue to fund these necessary programs. And I would agree with that writer in that regard. As long as they ensure that those funds are ring-fenced so that they are used for specific purposes and not just for any general purposes as well. This other one says, in conversations I have with individuals and listening on the radio, a lot of people don't understand that the government and the opposition can have backbenchers. Backbenchers in government are those MPs who do not have ministerial positions. Backbenchers in the opposition are those who do not hold shadow positions. I'm going to get you to comment on that one, Doc. Just remember that one. And this one says, good morning, listening to the opposition bringing their recommendations to the PAC governments is deceitful to the maximum. They had 12 years, 8 consecutive, to do the things that suggested. Just saying. Well, I want to just say to that person that the invitation was extended by the Premier to the leader of the opposition for any suggestions that he had. So this wasn't something that the progressives forced themselves into. The invitation was issued to them. Actually, when I was listening to it, I was anticipating that the Premier was going to say, and we received no response, and we received the response that said, we would prefer for you to go along with whatever programs that you have, and we at this point in time we would support them, but we would not want to impose on that as well. But speaking about backbenchers, this person is saying that they were talking to other people and explaining to them that you can have backbenchers on both sides, the government side as well as the opposition. And on the opposition, they're called basically the front bench.
And on the opposition call, they are the what do you call the shadow? The shadow
minister,
the shadow ministers,
government, right?
The shadow ministers on their front bench, and their back bench in the back.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Doc, over to you. Give you the mic for about 5 minutes.
Well, I would like to say that membership in our parliament is about leadership. That's what it's about. It is not about a secure paycheck and a guaranteed pension for life. It is not a form to guide a policy and push through laws that benefit family and friends. Indeed not. It is a chamber where construction and compromise work together to benefit all the people. It is the constitutional chamber where the rights of our people are protected and their needs and well-being are vested constitutionally. It seems to me that some legislators still have little or no interest in bringing the people together to build a future for them and their children. The Constitution is in most parts ignored by them, and the people's ability to self-respect and economic dignity are replaced by cheap indentured slave labor that some politicians use to further subjugate the people who they are supposed to liberate. I hope now that this SPS has ended all of that.
Okay. Still got some time here. We see what else we can do. Oh, the collapse of the building in Florida, unfortunate collapse and loss of lives, which it seems as if it's going to be probably over
100 people.
100. Now, the first thing, if you notice now, that no longer is headline news. For some reason, the media doesn't care too much about that anymore. Now, whether or not they don't want to focus on their lens on the actual
disaster
and the retrieving of bodies, for sensitive reasons, that is one thing. But we don't hear much about it. But we kept hearing that something like this only happens in third world countries.
Yes.
And I took umbrage to that, to a certain extent. Because in some quote-unquote third world countries, construction is, at least up to par, and maybe in some instances better.
Better than
that.
Yes.
We see now in Germany, 120 dead as floods sweep through Western Europe, and so in Western Europe, Germany, I'm not sure what the numbers are, but over 50 persons there as well. Natural, even though that is a natural disaster because of the flooding and stuff like that. But my whole point was that comparing what happens in the United States and making reference to third world countries in that derogatory sense, that needs to stop to a certain extent.
But some people in America consider us to be a third world country.
Yes.
And our building code is much better than this. I haven't heard of any building collapsing in Cayman, killing anybody. Have you heard of any? And since you were born?
Oh no. And in South Florida, theirs only came about after Hurricane Andrew.
Yes.
That they really solidified and boosted up the codes there, as well. So some people are asking, when is the government going to be coming on to hear from them? And I keep saying that we expect the government to come on at some point. I had been contacted and said that they were looking towards coming on this month.
That would be great.
We know that we just had this strategic policy statement delivered, and the debate took place on that. We know now that Finance Committee will be meeting, and after that is done, it is hoped that we will have the government because they can explain to the people of the Cayman Islands through this media, the details of their SPS and where their heads and their hearts
and what their priorities are going to be,
in relation to that. And so we look forward to that happening as well. But Doc, until such time, I will continue to call on you and expect you to to be here, with me.
I will.
So many people enjoy listening to you.
I will be here.
I believe they enjoy listening to you more than they do me.
Well, I think we make a good team.
Yes.
I think we make a good team. Perhaps one day we might have our own show.
Yep.
Together,
yes,
and we can go out with our own show together. That would be great. I know your parents would have loved that. Because it's real funny sometimes when I'm talking to my friends Gilbert McLean and some other people, I says, it's very uncanny how my first teacher was OC's mom in her school, in that schoolhouse where she had all those classes in one room, from kindergarten to standard 1 to standard 6, all in that room. And now I'm with OC on a talk show. It's really funny how life runs. How life runs and what you have to do so that it runs strategically and it runs perfectly, and that it runs to the benefit of a lot of people. And I think that we benefit a lot of people by being on the show, because I think it's a very informative show. I enjoy listening to it sometimes after I finished, just to see what mistakes were made, what mistakes were made, and what people are saying. I enjoy being with you, OC. I enjoy your leadership on the program.
Likewise here with you, Doc.
And I would like to come back anytime you ask me to come.
Excellent. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension for the record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh. Health City, now open at Camana Bay 7 days a week.
The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice,